Welcome back to the North American LCS Spring Split. We are joined by the evil genius Snoopy here, the jungler. You guys coming up with your second win. Coming into that match, how'd you feel about it?
Coming into the match, we really wanted to win. We couldn't afford to go 0-2 after such a bad Super Week. It was a 1-3 Super Week. And also we tied up with our buddies Alliance back in Europe, so that's pretty good as well. Biggest thing coming into that game is we just didn't really know what they were going to ban. And that's one of the big things that we were looking out for in this game is we need to be reactive in the pick and ban phase.
So then coming into that, they tunneled on a couple of junglers there. Elise and Vi banned by them. Tell me about when it came to that. You're like, okay, they're clearly funneling down on junglers. Was the Olaf ban an adaptation, or was that already the plan?
Coming into the game, the Olaf ban wasn't an adaptation. We set 3 bans, Caston, LeBlanc, and Olaf. They were like our standard bans we're going to go with no matter what. Okay. But we were definitely unsure of what they were going to ban. So we were playing reactive. We didn't actually plan the whole draft phase. We ran through a couple of mocks, but they were very uncertain. So we didn't really plan the entire comp itself. We had to really react in the champion select phase.
So with them starting out with jungle bans and then you also adding Olaf onto that, didn't leave you with that many options. Yeah. What's your jungle pool looking like these days? Were you confident on that Mundo?
No. I have a bunch of champions that I love to play, but they don't really fit in this meal. Like things like your Fiddlesticks and these other junglers as well. I love playing them, but they're not really quite ready for this meta or whatever. So the Mundo, I hadn't actually played Mundo for about 4 months. Not even a solo queue game, not even a team practice game. I hadn't played Mundo. But I was like, we have Soraka. It can't really go wrong. As long as we don't feed in the early game, we're going to scale, pretty much. That was the attitude going into it. But we actually got a really good early game. We counter-ganked a couple of times. We got Lee Sin invading. And we kind of got the game rolling really early, which we didn't plan to do even after we had the picks. We were like, just survive the laning phase. We actually started winning it.
So you mentioned that Soraka first pick. Once you have this sort of mobile vending machine, did you guys, at what point did you decide to go, we're going to go this super poke-heavy tower sieging composition?
Well, the one thing we realized is that Ziggs wasn't really fed, so we could always sustain in the mid. We could just freeze it in the mid. And Shyvana was losing to Nidalee, except one mistake that Inox made. He was like watching the other end of the map and not even looking at himself, and then Shyvana went on him and killed him. But overall, he was winning the lane, so we could afford to send Nidalee splitting and then have the poke comp in mid.
Okay, so then actually talking about the poke comp, we do have a replay of your kind of final game-winning push at the bottom inhibitor, where Sivir takes a couple javelins and falls over. We can get the replay up on your guys' screen. And Snoopy, if you want to take us through this this siege here.
So basically, we know that mid lane's pushing in. This is a very annoying pace to be in when the mid hitting's down. They're in a defensive position. We're just poking and poking and poking. And we have Gragas poke, cleavers, and we also have the Nidalee poke. And it's a huge threat throughout the entire siege on this tower. And basically, we're whittling them down. This is the process. Once you get Baron and you have an inhib down, you're whittling them down. It's a really sucky position to be in a defensive mindset. It's like you're losing the game slowly. And unless they could force an engage on us, which they didn't really have the potential to force the engage on us, we're basically going to win that game. We're just going to slowly draw them out, basically.
Seems kind of like the ARAM composition from hell here.
Yeah, it does. It's like your dream ARAM comp. You have Soraka to keep you constantly fed, and then you have the Nidalee poke, and then the Gragas poke as well. And we also saw at one point, we're having team fights around Baron, and it was a stalemate, and then suddenly Ziggs dies. And that's because Gragas was so fed that it just this one Gragas barrel and Gragas cask, and that was it. It was over.
So then talk to me then, as you guys are clearly putting together a very good team and you're playing extremely well, and actually I guess surprising yourselves in the early game. You've been putting on a really good show of late. I know you caught some flack on EG over in Europe. You had a new jungler come in for a short time. You've been doing a whole hell of a lot better. What's been going on with you?
I've been playing an insane amount. I think 2 days ago I played for something like 17 hours. I woke up at 7 a.m. and was playing until 11 or something like that. So I've been playing an absolute ton. And it's one thing I want to do. I want to focus on my game. The game has changed a lot slightly. The champions that you use have changed a lot since Season 2 when I was in my prime, basically. The game's changed a lot. And I've been constantly learning over the past season, trying to get better and better. And I honestly feel I feel in a good place right now. I feel like my calling in the game is really accurate. Our dragon control, even in the games we lose, is really, really good. So the only problem is people getting caught, and we're losing games because of that. I'm trying to pick up Lee Sin. Lee Sin's one champion that I'm trying to pick up, and I have good games on it and I have bad games on it. So we're still in the middle of it. I really want to pick up Lee Sin if I can, but I'm not quite there with it yet.
You actually talked about the calls being good, people getting caught. There were a bunch of your guys' tweets yesterday after your loss of the calls were good, the respect for the calls was not. What goes on when people are just ignoring you?
It's so frustrating. Pobeller, I want to call him out here a little bit, right? It just completely zones out. You might have seen one. I don't even remember one game where we had a ward and we saw the Olaf cross in the mid and he just didn't see it. And he called it. And he's after it, yeah, that was dumb of me, you know. And you lose games because of that. So we need to really watch and really pay attention when these calls are being made and ping and then scream and then repeat it like 4 times as well.
So Pobelter, like, still in school. How is your guys' home life? Because you guys moving all the way over here across the Atlantic, and then Pobelter's still in school. You guys have so many things to deal with. How is it, you know, at the house?
So Pobelter doesn't actually stay with us. It's a bit of a limiting factor in the sense that we have to wait until he finishes school during the day, and we start playing at 3. And then we play from 3 till 10, and he has to do his homework at some point as well. And he doesn't really have a weekend to do his homeworks because we're playing then. So it's a little bit of a hectic schedule, but we're trying our best to make it work. We're actually living a bit too far from the studio right now, so we're going to look to move to somewhere closer. And once we get that down, I think we'll start to get the ball picking up, and like we'll pick up some more wins.
Well, Snoopy, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on your win, and of course, we'll see more of you throughout the rest of the season. Guys, we have more